Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Digital Marketing Scoop. This is the third part in a three-part series with Sian Horn, all about building personal brand. This week we are going to be talking all about how to leverage your personal brand. Thanks so much to Sian for joining me. Really hope you enjoyed this episode and enjoyed the series overall. Hope you enjoy it. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Digital Marketing Scoop. I am back with the fantastic Sian Horn. This week we are talking about how to leverage your personal brand to grow your business. So Sian, you've spent a long time building your personal brand, but multiple businesses you have then, from that brand you've built a tree I can think of offhand. There may be more.
There's one coming. There's always one coming.
So I suppose, Sian, if someone's out there and will say that they're doing a pretty good job, they've built a nice following, maybe they're not leveraging that following at the moment. They have ideas that they'd like to start a business. Or maybe they have, we see people with different developing their own products, developing their own merchandise. Because it can also be a big change for people from someone who's never maybe promoted a product or service before. But how should someone kind of go about leveraging their personal brand? And I think an important thing to do with it as well is without becoming kind of a salesperson to their audience.
It's back to if you're following your passion.
Yeah.
You'll never sell something that you love because you're just telling people about stuff that you love. And I suppose if you look at, my sort of last decade or so in Cork, for instance, so actually, I didn't have a personal brand in Cork. Nobody knew me. I moved here from Dublin, was like, what am I going to do? Went into sales actually for the devils that I'll group on, but who are actually amazing for small business. But coming as a small business owner, although I worked for them, I really worked for the people that were giving me work, which were the SMEs of Cork City. So I did deals for them that Groupon may have not agreed with it initially, but I was looking after them because I knew that if I looked after them, then I would get repeat custom from them. So they trusted me. I was authentic. I didn't lie. Do you know what I mean? And actually, that's what started to build my personal brand in Cork City. People trusted me.
On the ground networking.
Yeah, on the ground, networking, meeting people. And then I was like, I wanted to start my own business. And, people didn't know me as a Pilates instructor at all. And we went into partnership. And unfortunately, the partnership didn't work. Most don't. I work with partnerships all the time. 90% of them don't work. So don't do it. Did I say that out loud? Don't do it. And I was like, when a partnership splits up, it's never nice. And not actually ever because of the people, but solicitors get involved and that's how they make money. So it's never nice because they don't want you to split up amicably because they'd make more money if you don't. So, I was very aware of that. I don't know if my partner at the time was, but I was certainly very aware because I was like, why is this such hassle? It should be easy. But I was very conscious that, people didn't know me as a person. So I was like, what should I do? And my friend was like, join a local business society and I really hadn't networked really officially before. So I literally just joined them all in Cork and I went to them all, felt completely out of my comfort zone, as everybody does when they first walk into a room of strangers. And I found one network Ireland, and it just suited me. And I was like, this is where I'm going to live. 200 members, all women. I primarily worked with women as a Pilates instructor, so it was perfect. And that was really the first time that I'd ever really networked, and that's 8 years ago. But what I found was, I never told anybody what I did. Like in
the networking group?
Yeah, really, honestly. I was just like, this is great crack. I don't know anybody in Cork. I can go. These girls will have a glass of wine with me. I can moan about my awful week. But what I was finding over time was actually a lot of them didn't understand what I needed from it because they didn't work for themselves. Okay. So I could go, God, I'm having such a tough week. And they'd be like, oh God, I know, it's awful. And then in my head, I'd be like, shut up, you're getting paid. You're getting paid on Friday. How do you know what I'm feeling? Do you know what I mean? So I love them, but I was like, I need to find just those people. So it was amazing what had happened, though, by meeting amazing people. And a lot of them I'd worked with through Groupon, because I worked with all the 5-star hotels and all those girls were in there. And I made such good friends, and I really did. But I was like, okay, what do I want to do? No, what's next? And I think, like I'm a grabber of opportunities. So in 2018, a friend from Network rang me and said, RT are looking for someone who's in business, looking to start a new business. And I went, oh, I'll do that. And she goes, well, what are you going to do? And I went, I don't know, I'll work that out. Just tell them to ring me. And I was like, oh, we'll do some gear. And B-Bell started. And B-Bell then ended up being a community to empower women, encourage movement, because it's something that I so believe in, because I believe that movement heals. And this lovely community started. And that was leveraged off the network. And then as B-Bell grew, and then obviously COVID hit, and I was always coaching, I was always mentoring on the side. It was always my side hustle. Always had like 2 or 3 clients on the go, but never thought to do it full time. And when COVID hit, that's when you really sit and go, hang on a minute, like I'm leaving teaching there. I'm leaving not working on a Wednesday morning to go and help somebody else in their business. I'm getting such a kick out of it. Why aren't I doing this full time? And then I was like, right, we launched Sian Horn. We launched a learning hub. I spent a year doing so many courses, getting frustrated because I was learning off people that didn't understand what I was going through. And I'm like, no, there's a rule with me, is if you teach something, you have to work for yourself. You have to have felt it and been through it and knowing the agony and knowing the amazingness of when something goes right and how horrible it is jumping around a room by yourself, celebrating by yourself. Do you know what I mean? So actually what I worked out then was I'd created a brand and I'd created this huge network before I knew I needed it. And that is the key. You don't go out searching for a network when you think you want to start a business. You network before you do that business, because networking actually is making friends and having interest in people and knowing what they do. And that's so important. I probably didn't tell anybody that I owned Elite Pilates for 2 years in network.
Really?
No, they all kind of knew.
Literally just going in I
was too interested in what they did.
That's a fantastic way to be, obviously. Yeah.
I used to just get excited. What do you do? What do you do? Like, oh my God, everybody's like really interesting. So, and then lots of people just didn't ask me. So I was like, well, I'm not going to sell it to them.
Yeah.
And people say, do you get a lot of business? Do you get a lot of business from people in network? And I say, do you know, funny enough, there's not loads of people that come to me from network. I certainly have a few girls that come, but the amount of people that come and say, oh, I was out with my friend having coffee the other day and I said, oh, my back is hurting. And she said, oh, you must go to Elite. Sian's fantastic. She's got a great team. Do you know what I mean? It's planting seeds in people's brains to be the first thing on the end of someone's tongue, to be the person that they shout for in a room of opportunity, and vice versa. I spent years asking other people what they needed from me and what help I could give them. And actually, when I needed it the most, they all came running.
Brilliant. That's fantastic. I think one of the things there is that we'll say you may not know exactly how you're going to leverage your personal brand.
Yeah.
But when the opportunity comes along, you have that audience of people who've now got your back and are there to support you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazingly powerful. I mean, it gives you the power, like, to literally start a business like that, because straight away those people are cheering for you, are following you instantly.
When I saw the need, and the thing with, like, I'm still part of network, I love it, but I needed something different, and the club for me was the something different. So everybody in the club works for themselves. And I'll be honest, when we launched it, like the first week of December last year, I honestly thought there'd be like me and like 15 of my mates. I really did, and people came in, supported straight away, and there's 92 women in there now.
That's insane. 92.
Yeah.
Jeez, well done. That's, like, for something that started literally 6 months ago.
6 months. But also as well, what I want, we're in phase 2 now, Mark. We're in phase 2. So, the first 6 months you're learning all the time and making, and I only had certain things to go by, only my experience, obviously. So we meet twice a month and we do workshops. But now, like phase 2, we've set up a learning hub. So there's an actual library that people can go in and actually do teachings. If they join 8 months after a talk was on, they can go in and see it. We have a team of ambassadors starting. And it's just like ever evolving. But the big thing for me is if you work for yourself and you're in a community and all these women are personal brands in themselves. And I look now at social media and I see them all collaborating. Like there's so much power in that.
Yeah.
It is mad. And most of the people that join now see that.
And they can help each other grow their own
brands.
brands.
And they're like, oh my God, I want to work with that person. Oh my God, look at all these women. They're just all supporting each other. It's just organic. It's real. It's not over fluffy. It's not ladies at lunch. We're there to learn and we network and, we get to know each other and we support each other. So we call it a support system rather than a network because you don't go for referrals. You go for support. The referrals will come because you will support each other.
Yeah.
So that's my big thing and that's why it's called the club, because club has the connotation of fun.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. So that's how I leverage, and it wasn't easy. So if you think like really a decade ago, I didn't have a personal brand in Cork.
Yeah.
I built it through networking, meeting people, having interest in them, giving them something, being kind to them. Give before you expect to receive,
100%. And that goes for whether it's networking in the
life.
traditional sense, or it goes for life. You're dead right. But whether it's networking in the traditional sense or on social.
Absolutely. 100%.
If you're constantly just pushing out sales pitches, obviously nobody wants to watch that.
And there's different ways to do that. Like somebody was put up the other day, somebody DM'd into their DMs, I think Jess followed them. I think you're great. Do you want to get involved in this? And I'm like, oh my God. Nobody does that to me, actually, probably because they know the response they get. But I just think that's just beyond. I just think that's madness to me. But a good example, actually, when we opened B-Bell, one of my connections obviously was one of the largest departments, was Brown Thomas. And I wanted to, when you're doing your personal brand, you've got to work out who you want to stand next to and how you want people to perceive you. And I wanted to stand next to Brown Thomas, and they opened their arms and welcomed me in, and we have a great partnership and relationship. But the minute that started, the amount of people that rang me and said, could you give me the number of the person that you... And I'm like, I can't actually. And I just can't because I don't actually have it. We've had, like, the last few years, we've just met for coffees and stuff. So I never had their number.
Yeah.
I built a relationship and a friendship, and that's how it evolved. So it's not as easy. You don't just send someone an email and things happen.
I think LinkedIn is the worst place for that in particular.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely.
I noticed you're friends with this person. Here, let's have a meeting. Kind of like, I have no idea who you are.
Yeah. And then you have to ring your friend and say, what do they do? And they're like, I don't know. No. I just friended them. And you're like, don't just friend people. Know what they know.
But it is. Look, it is. It's all about relationship building.
100%.
In terms of leveraging then, like, as you were saying, it really is about just opening up the opportunities. But are there any kind of specific tips you would have for people? Maybe they've got, a couple of thousand followers. They've built a nice little brand for themselves. And maybe they're not in any way monetizing it, for want of a better word. Is there any kind of tips you would have for them around taking those next steps?
Sorry. Do you know, my dad just came into my head then because he'd go, work harder. that's all he'd say. He just, for me, look, it's consistency. Like people seem to think like on social media, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
And that's just not the truth. So at the end of the day, I would take 1,000. Actually, I was using this example the other day. I'm working with two ladies. One has 33,000 followers and one has 366. And they both have the same amount of people watching their stories.
Yeah.
So I don't care on numbers. for me, it's about engagement.
Oh, 100%.
So stop scrolling and start taking an interest. That's the biggest thing for me. Stop scrolling. If you have, for instance, like I always say to my clients, you must have a wish list of people that I'd love to work with that person. We'd work really well together. Then take an interest in them. So if you're interested in them, they will become interested in you and give a little. So for instance, I use my time, like everything costs money. So people say, well, how much do you put behind your Instagram every week? I actually at the moment don't put anything, but I spend 6 hours a week on engagement. I do my lives. I do other people's lives. Everything costs money, whether that's your time or cash. So understand that it's an investment. So if you want to grow, make sure you're talking to the right people. Make sure that you're getting your message across. Don't do stupid things like, for instance, I don't know, you're a hairdresser and you do a competition to go to Tato Park. Yes, you'll get 800 followers.
They're not going to be interested.
But where are they from? Where do they live? Are they all going to get their hair cut in your place? You're better off win a free haircut and have 40 people that are all interested in and live nearby that can come to your salon for a haircut than you are having the other. But people have got this fascination on numbers. Yeah. And I just don't believe in numbers. I have 7,000 or so, but they're engaged.
Yeah.
And we talk. And, as much as you can, look after those people. So that would be my big thing is invest, understand it costs money, whether that's your time or financial, and give it time, but you have to make it work for you. So for instance, if you work every day 9 to 5, do 5 to 9 and 5 past 5 on your stories.
Yeah.
You haven't thought about it. You've sat at your desk. You just open your laptop. You've pressed that little Apple button. It goes, doo, and you're doing a quick story. You've done it. Now you can move on. And now you can, and if you do anything, go and actually look at other people's pages and engage with them. Save their stuff. They will see it. They will, and comment and keep in touch with them. Build relationships. Social media is the same as walking down the street.
Yeah, that's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Brilliant, Sian. Listen, anybody listening who would love to check out your stuff, where should they head to?
Oh, it's very easy now. It's all in one place. Thanks to Mark. I always go, should I do this? And he goes, for God's sake, put all of your things in one place. So it's www.sianhorn.com and it's
You don't even need the www.
Oh, do you not? Okay. I like saying that, Mark. It's something I can say, unlike favourite. But Sian Horn is spelled SIANHORN.com.
I think if anything comes out of these 3 episodes, it has to be you have to do merch with a favourite written.
I'm off to court clothing as we speak.
Sian, a pleasure as always.
Thank you, babes.
Thanks so much.
No worries.